Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew from Elevated Planet.
And Jolie Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet, and we'd like to welcome you to today's show, where we are going to go over information from Thoth. And John's
Yes,
going to tell us more about it.
yes, we've got
Oh,
an ascended master with us this week, which is great. It's kind of like, we mentioned about the book club last week where we were going to, do everything like through this either book club idea. And largely like last week was based off the Dolores Cannon book. And this time, again, it's like another element of the book club because we are digging under the surface of Sarah Breskman Cosme's book. And again, there's a great deal of synergy here with Dolores because she was an acolyte of Dolores Cannon. And it makes it really interesting because, as I've mentioned a number of times before, it seems as though the clients that Sarah gets are kind of set up for a by Dolores who's on the other side and been on the other side now for the last 10, 11 years. But it's a beautiful synergy of how we are receiving information now, which, many would look at it from a mainstream perspective and think, well, it's just, deluded nonsense, which is fine, but it's also very entertaining. So the fact is, whichever way you look at it, I think those who are on the journey will kind of, hold space for this kind of information and judge it as it comes through. But even if you see it as pure entertainment, that's fine as well. And I think that the work that Sarah is doing is amazing. And, it does amaze me as well because this is something that I know from this same book from which we extracted today, which is The Hypnotist's Journey to Avalon, that one of the things she discovered during the channelings, or the not so much the channelings, but the QHHT sessions, so the clients under deep hypnosis, one of them was telling her that she in the past life had been a druid whose responsibility was to write the wisdom and the knowledge of the druids and maintain it. And she actually has a book that is still in existence, but it is walled up somewhere in Oxford University. Now, if you've ever been to Oxford University, you'll know those buildings are ancient. But somewhere behind a fireplace, there is an example or her work still there. But she was told that she is the one who will ultimately find it. Now, I think with a lot of this information, it all comes through. It's almost like a time release capsule. The frequencies on the planet have to reach the right level, and then all of a sudden, information is now released to us, which would be more dangerous if it was released whilst our frequency is low. Then this is the kind of information that could be weaponized. Once our frequency is at the right level and it is used only for good, then we get that information back again. And we're heading towards that time now. So I do find it quite fascinating. And, you look at what's happening around us on the planet right now. And, we're seeing a lot of conflict. We're seeing a lot of, I think, I'm pretty convinced that we're going to be going into an era of civil unrest. And that's been spoken about. I've heard it a lot over these last few weeks, from, the likes of the Z's as an example, but there are many others. And interestingly, I had an exchange with our good friend, Chris Stiles, who is a human futurist who uses the numerology kind of thing, but on a higher level, to see what the influences are, for people and places and businesses and all sorts, because everything has, like cities, they all have a date where they were, a year they were formed. And, there's ways that you can actually establish information. And Chris came through with some really good information on that as to, what he sees as quite feasible going forward. So in fact, I'm going to do an interview with Chris on Wednesday. So we'll basically be posting that as soon as we can afterwards, because Jolie and I are huge fans of Chris and Suzanne, his wife, their work and that they've done together. And it's always worth sharing that, particularly towards the beginning of the year when, it's good to have what the influences are going to be from a human futurology perspective. So, yeah. And I do think that the civil unrest side of things is likely to kick in. And again, from what we saw recently in the last few days with the ice issue in Minnesota. These things are catalysts. And, if handled with sensitivity, it becomes less of a catalyst. But we've seen a lack of sensitivity around the way that has been handled, and that will further ignite the issue. Who knows, right? We will see. But I think we can imagine that could be on the cards. And of course, we've got to bear in mind that we were told going back to like last November, I think it was, when we were looking at a remote viewing on the Donald Trump side of things, that his role here on the planet, his sole contract is to be a disruptor, and he's here to break down the old systems, but he's not here to build the new ones. Okay, so this is kind of what it is. He's the one who's coming in, and again, I have no political axe to grind. I'm not an American. I don't vote, and at the end of the day, you can see what is represented as very much old Earth energy there. But we're seeing a time now which is going to be a time of unrest, but for a purpose. Everything is in divine alignment, if you like, because we have to go through this era of whether it's going to be chaos, whether it's that bad, I don't know, but we have to go through a period of disruption to get to the other side, which is a much more beautiful place, as we know, a higher consciousness place. So that's part of the job. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Now, I suppose really I was going to say, Jolie, what do you reckon? I mean, do we want to just dive into this next
Yes.
section?
Yeah, we need some relief from all of that, what's happening, especially here in America. It would be nice to be able to step into some peace and to be able to maybe bring that to the environment, because we're bombarded with that information. At least I am, and it is very compelling as I'm riveted. But at the same time, it could be toxic. And if you don't know exactly how to deal with this, it can also infiltrate your energy, right? So with us, hopefully we can help to absorb this and integrate this in a way that creates positive action, call to change, and also definitely creating internal peace on this journey.
Yes. Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's it. It's kind of like understanding your own energy and being a master of that, and not allowing to be drawn in. But at the same time, because this was a discussion we had before we came on air, wasn't it? We were talking about the fact that, even though there's that divine neutrality, which is important at a time, you don't want to feed the monster, right? You want to retain divine neutrality. But there is also a time for action, because at the end of the day, again, I say like the Greg Braden phrase that he uses. What is that again? When he's talking about that's it, normalcy bias, where
Yes.
people see
Yeah.
things that go beyond the pale, but then choose to turn a blind eye to it, in which case it then ramps up and becomes the new normal. So normalcy bias goes so far, but at some point it breaks, and people will suddenly say that that is just no longer acceptable, not in my name.
Yeah.
So interesting times, and it's what we came here for.
Yes. And we can also see how maybe, I've learned some new words, so I'm going to use them right now. We have so often been looking outward, right? For acceptance, for instructions, for direction. And that's called what? Kind of caring about what other people think, Pygmalion effect. I think we're moving into what's called the Galatea or the Galatea. It's where you care more about your own goals that you set for yourself. You care more about your own journey, and you're not so much interested in what the outside is telling you to do. And that's why we are here. I mean, that right there is going to help us. Now, I'm not talking about demons and so, giving in to those. I mean, listening to the voice of intuition and the voice of the creator that moves through you. And at this big age and time, I think we can hear our conscience speak to us and our intuition. It's just more about listening so that we can be, I guess, guided by our highest and most loving self instead of something that's not quite in alignment with us.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what the message we keep getting all the time is, the power is within. And the external distractions are there to take us away from the power that is within. And by tapping into that, we can make such a change to the consciousness on the planet. And I suppose just one thing to mention, I suppose, in that regard as well. On Thursday, we're going to start doing the PAM meditation again, right?
Right.
But what we're going to do this time, rather than do the elevated planet version, Pam has now created her own guided meditation that people can tap into. So we're going to look that up. And therefore, we will be absolutely on message with Pam's guided meditation. And anybody who wants to join us at what would be 7 p.m. UK or just before 7 p.m. UK, because we'll have 10 minutes to have a chat before we go into it. But we're going to start doing that on a regular basis. So we're going to start, getting more information and get closer as a community. And thank you to the community as well. Kit, see her again. Thank you, Kit. We love having you with us. Yeah, and everybody else who's here too.
Yes, and for those of you who will be joining us from America, Pacific time, it'll be 11 a.m. and then you can go from there.
For the Pam meditation.
Yes, on Thursday.
That's right. Yeah, 11 a.m., 2 p.m. in Eastern. So
East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're working, just tell your boss that you're going to take 20 minutes off because you've got to go
Yes.
and meditate.
Meditate.
Elevated Planet and Pam Gregory.
And elevate your job.
Yeah. He'll probably stop the entire workforce and tell everybody to get in and listen. So that way we can truly change the collective consciousness on the planet.
That water cooler, blow it up.
Right. Okay. So now we are going to go to that first section, which is, we're keeping it narrow these days. So this is really fascinating stuff because this is now, as we said before, it is Thoth who is the ascended master and he is the architect of ascension. And so who better than to tap into this wisdom? Comes from Sarah's book, Sarah Breskman Cosme's book, The Hypnotist Journey into Avalon. Brilliant book. And we've touched on this before, but no apologies for any repeats here because there are times like now where this information is so important to us. So, okay, Jolie, are we going to dive in?
Let's go.
Okay, here we go. Take care. Bear with me a second, everybody.
If humanity truly needs this wisdom, then what must I capture, document, and release with this book to help others? These questions stayed with me, pushing me deeper into my own process. I needed answers, so I turned to the source that has always guided me. Another session with Yana, and as if by divine timing, no one other than Thoth came through to share his wisdom. The energy of his presence was undeniable. His insights not only expanded my understanding, but also ignited a deeper sense of purpose. The messages he shared were unlike anything I expected. Urgent, profound, and transformative. I realized this isn't just about documenting knowledge. It's about answering a call, delivering what humanity needs at this pivotal time. It's humble to be the conduit for something so much bigger than myself, but I feel it now more than ever. This is why I'm here. Tell me what you see. Thoth is here. The being known as Thoth, or Three, has come through multiple sessions as documented in my other books. What does he want to say? I want your readers to know that I am here for anyone who calls upon me. My purpose is to bring enlightenment to the earth. My role is to help humans ascend, and I do everything within my power to facilitate that expansion. I hold a deep love for humanity. This is part of a much grander design. Earth is one of the planets under my jurisdiction. All planets and beings must, at some stage, undergo this process of awakening. Earth is a place specifically designed to support this ascension program, a passageway through which souls evolve. I have helped create an environment where human beings can remember their divine connection. Everyone who interacts with Earth, especially those who choose to incarnate, is involved in the ascension process in some capacity. Whether they are here for their own ascension, assisting others, holding the negativity as a necessary counterbalance, or simply learning about the mechanics of ascension to later serve as guides, every soul plays a role. Why Earth in particular? Earth is a very protected and heavily guarded planet, providing the perfect conditions for this ascension game. It is also a planet of free will, which allows the program to unfold in the way it needs to. Is this ascension program just a game, or does it serve a greater purpose? It is for those souls who seek to merge back with God, to return to unity. This is a journey for souls at that phase of their evolution. What happens when you merge back with God? When a soul merges back with God, its consciousness as an individual ceases to exist. All that the soul has experienced is integrated back into the all-encompassing source. Why do souls seek this merging? It is inevitable. All beings eventually return to God. Every soul has its timeline, a birth, a life, and a return to source, just as every physical human does. Have you, Thoth, completed the ascension process? I have not fully ascended. I have chosen to remain until the end of this experiment. As the creator of the ascension program, I feel a responsibility to guide others. If I were to merge with the all, I would lose the will to assist in the ascension of others. I draw my strength from source, and in turn from those souls who are nearing their own merging. Tell me more about yourself. How would you describe your being? I am an aspect, a program of consciousness, designed to specifically facilitate the merging of the individual with the One. Did you build the Great Pyramid? In a sense, yes. I envisioned what was needed for Earth and sent out a call to the necessary beings. Many contributed to the construction, but I set the plan in motion. Who did you work with? I worked with higher dimensional beings, primarily archangels. They come from every corner of the universe to assist with this ascension. So, beings from higher dimensions help humans in this process? Yes, every soul will eventually return to source, but some, like the archangels, follow a different path. Some choose to incarnate as humans, experiencing the game of forgetting their true nature to remember it once again. How does an archangel incarnate as a human? Due to the vastness of their energy field, an archangel may incarnate in multiple bodies at once. This is how higher consciousness manifests in human form. For example, the Christ consciousness has incarnated across many generations. The purpose of this was to trigger a collective shift in humanity's awareness. Is it working? It was always designed to work. The shift has already begun. I too am incarnated again, triggering another widespread shift in consciousness. The Earth's frequency, what you call the Schumann resonance, reflects these changes. Every being on Earth at this time has chosen to be here, consciously or unconsciously, to accelerate their remembering. Is it true that all one must do is to remember that it's a game? Yes. The game is designed to make you forget that you are God, so you can remember it again. Once you step into that consciousness, you transcend the game. Does the Great Pyramid help in this process? Absolutely. The pyramids are antenna, communication portals. They allow high-frequency energy to merge with the Earth plane. These vortex points were established to anchor divine energy, compressing it into this dimension. Do the pyramids need to be fully intact for this to work? No, they will always function. They are mathematical coordinates, designed to last. However, to utilize their frequencies, specific beings with the right knowledge and attunement are required. Who are these beings? They are reincarnated high priests and priestesses, chosen for their ability to receive and translate these frequencies. They were stewards of this knowledge, passing it down through generations. Even now there are beings within the Earth who anchor this energy. Where are the priests and priestesses now? They still exist, continuing their work in secret. Their identities remain hidden, but they are human. Some were even mentioned in biblical texts. Figures like Abraham were students of this wisdom. Who taught them in ancient times? I did, either directly or through teachers who were able to channel my consciousness. Yana, for example, is a part of the group consciousness that has incarnated across multiple bodies. Her role is to translate higher frequencies into this plane. How can Yana activate her DNA? Her DNA is already being activated because it is time. Every soul has a preordained moment for their own activation and consciousness to unfold. Can you tell me more about the 13 tribes of Israel? I've always wanted to know about them. These tribes are descendants of the original priestesses of Atlantis. Each tribe carries a piece of the wisdom necessary for ascension. Once all the pieces are remembered, collective ascension will be triggered. Do extraterrestrials play a role? Yes, Many extraterrestrial races have been called upon to assist in this process. They help humanity remember. Why did Hitler target the Jews? I've always wondered if there was anything else you could tell me about this. The Jewish people carry one of the original seeds of ascension, a blueprint from Atlantis. Hitler's actions were driven by unconscious forces that sought to suppress this wisdom. Are we heading toward extinction? No, quite the opposite. Humanity is moving toward enlightenment, a higher octave of consciousness. However, those who refuse this shift will remain on a lower timeline and eventually become extinct. So there really are two paths, one toward extinction and one toward ascension? Yes, that is correct. But for those who anchor in the higher timeline, the focus is on ascension. Any final message? Trust the wisdom within. Focus on your own ascension. Release the programs of forgetting. It is time to wake up. Let go of fear. Trust the process and remember, you are being upgraded.
And we're back. So, yeah, I find this really interesting. I mean, last week when we had the Dolores work, where we were looking at ISIS and the return of the machine people, and we had the lady called Terry, who was the one who was the client coming through with all the information as an acolyte of ISIS. And this time around, we have Yana, who's the client for Sarah, who she's been working with now for several years, because when she's written her books about Atlantis and the pyramids and the Sphinx and all that, you know, she's been front and center because she is the person who channels the Ascended Master Thoth. But what I love about it is the amount of detail in this information and how empowering it is, because it helps you to understand what this ascension game is really all about. And also it helps us to not get drawn into the external dramas when we understand the nature of what is happening and why it's happening. And just a few headlines to go through really within that. You know, Earth is designed to create this ascension program, and partly because it's a free will planet, you know, that's important, but also it's a very heavily protected planet. So, and I get that. Now, I know that we do have extraterrestrials on this planet or of extraterrestrial origin on this planet who are not for our highest good. Now, but they've been around for many thousands of years, so they're kind of part of it. So, but I know that, again, there's a necessary counterbalance to this, because one of the things that was said is that every soul incarnated on the planet is playing a role. And there's a lot of others as well who are here to do the assisting bit, which would be, you know, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, and all the rest of it, who are here in part in hybrid form. They're out there on the spaceships, and they're all influencing things, working with the collective, who are also known as the White Hats, who are there to counterbalance some of the darker energies as well. So it's amazing. But, you know, we all have a role to play in this ascension program. And, you know, we're here very much on purpose. So whilst, you know, we don't get a script handed to us to show us, because we get the veil of forgetfulness descending that says that whatever our life plan is when we came in, you know, we then get subjected to the brainwashing and the programming and conditioning that is, you know, taught us ever, you know, from birth onwards, really, and particularly in schools and beyond, so that we get drawn into this, which is what we wanted. You know, we don't need to feel bad about that. But now is the time when we get to release all this and truly step back into our power. But there was an important phrase that was used there by Thoth, which is, you know, there are people here who are holding the negativity as a necessary counterbalance. That's an important point, because that enables you to not get drawn in. When you see people acting in that way that represents, if you like, old earth energy, the egoic top-down control, the bullying, the, you know, all that kind of stuff, that is the energy that is leaving, but it has to come to the surface to be released. They are the ones holding the negative counterbalance that enables others to step more into the light, because you can't have everybody representing light. Everything comes back into balance. So you've got to have light and dark balanced. So those who have come in and volunteered for roles which are the darker roles, because they create the counterbalance. I think that is a huge point, because it enables us to not get so drawn in, because you can identify, okay, they're here as the counterbalance, which is going to enable me to elevate my consciousness, because that is creating space for it on the spectrum. So what else did I write down here? Yeah, this is,
that's brilliant, John. Can you say that again?
yeah, for sure.
Counterbalance. One more time.
It's holding the negativity as a necessary counterbalance. So that is what certain people are here to do. They're here to hold that negative counterbalance and therefore create that. So yeah, I do think that's a powerful thing. And it's basically this is a passageway through which souls evolve, for souls to merge back with God. We are aspects of God. We're here playing this game, which is made for us to forget that we are God. And we do forget that, because we have our programming and conditioning, and we're told we're small and we're all separate. You don't realize that we are part of this one single consciousness. Heart-based unity consciousness takes us back in, but we're surrounded by polarization. We're surrounded by separation. We're told that we have to look outside of ourselves for others to help us through life, and hand over our power to governments, to corporations, and to so many more things as well, right? I mean, we've all been living through this, so we kind of seen it all for ourselves. So yeah, and that also I felt a lot of synergies there with Conversations with God from Neil Donald Walsh. The way in which this gets described, really, it does fit very much in line with that. And the idea also, the high priests and the priestesses that he was talking about, that are coming back to assist, and they are already incarnated on the planet. They are protectors of the knowledge. That will be released when the time is right, which again, once the frequency reaches the right level, and we are ready for that. But again, it ties in perfectly with last week, when we had Terry, who was being under the deep hypnosis, and as the acolyte of Isis. And Isis will be back by 2050, along with her acolytes and priests and priestesses. So I love the synergies here. Timelines are starting to come around as well, because I know 2050 is still 24 years away, but it doesn't mean by 2050 she's here. It's not to say she's not here at 2040, or the energies are shifting. We know, we can feel it, right? And we're here for the ride. The DNA activation. Everybody has a preordained date. So everybody who is here, and we're all here on purpose, everybody has an activation date for DNA. So what that tells you is that for some people, that's maybe not for another 5 years, right? Maybe another 10 years, maybe, who knows, right? But the fact is that we're responsible for ourselves. There is a timeline when I will have my DNA activation. I don't know what date that is. They haven't published the list yet. But again, same for everybody in our community, everybody who sees this video, you have a date where that becomes, and maybe it's already happened, because like for the likes of Yana, it had already happened. Much of the sessions of hypnosis that took place where this book came from were done in early 2024. So it's not like it was a long time ago. So I find that really interesting, because we don't have to push too hard. But what we can do is permission. We can permission the lifting of the veil. We can permission the fact that we can absorb more of our higher self into our physical and etheric body here on the planet, because that gives us more wisdom. We can permission it, knowing that our teams who are up there will know that they won't do it in a way that disrupts. They'll do it in a way that we're able to handle it when that time is right. But the thing is, it's a bit like we said before, it's like, and I think it was Dr. David Clements who said this, is that unless you actually ask your higher self for assistance, for instance, they can't help, because it's a free will planet. The same way that unless you permission the release of the veil, or the lifting of the veil, or the release of higher consciousness energy into your physical vessel here on the planet, then you're not doing yourself any harm. You're allowing things to happen when the time is right. So I think that's important too. So ETs are assisting us, and we know that, as I said before, it's the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, and so many more who are there with the Galactic Federation, helping this to happen, as well as many hybrid species who are here as well, who are here with a naturally high frequency. The rainbow children have come in, and the other versions of the release of higher DNA'd children that have come through over the last few decades. I mean, we talked about this, I can't even remember what we call them now, other than the rainbow children. And the indigos, that's right. Indigos is another one. And crystals, that's it. Indigo crystals as well. Yeah, a higher octave of consciousness, or ultimately extinctions. Those who aren't able to take the higher timeline, who are stuck in fear, or they just don't get it, then ultimately that leads to extinction. There are going to be two paths. And as we know from Dr. Samuel Lee of about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, by 2030, that train is leaving the station, and you have to decide which train you are getting on. Now, it's not a conscious decision, because it all depends upon the frequency at which you resonate. So that's it. The more you are in heart-centered unity, consciousness, and love, the more likely you are to be on that express heading towards the fifth dimension and beyond. But yeah, I love the consistency of all this, and trust the wisdom from within. I think that is absolutely powerful. So Jolie, I've been babbling on for long enough.
It's all right, John. I hear you, and I was really, because it's the word struggle comes in when there's light and when there's dark, and then there's that space in between that can create at times friction, right? And it can almost seem like I'm doing my work. Why is it that I still feel like I'm playing in the mud, right? And so through this process, if you can imagine it, you're muddy, why? Because of all the programming, the conditioning that has nothing to do with you. That's why in this analogy, it's going to be on the outside. And then once you realize that there's a stream of water, of light, and then you see your arm, get clean or whatever, you go through the process. And I guess this is what we're doing slowly but surely, is through the process of meditation, through the process of using our tools and up leveling and breathing and all of these exercises, it just washes the mud off, right? And it washes it off into a point where you can stand in that light or that water and know that you are clean. But that is, unfortunately, my analogy is on the outside, but it's an inside job. And once we remember and begin to connect, especially with ancestral energy, because we talk about these Arcturians and Lemurians and Andromedans, in this current iteration of where we are, our access to them is, how do you say it? It's vague, right? It's not something that can be tangible. And the way we've conditioned, if an Andromedan is to drop in our mind and give us language or communicate with us, we would think we were crazy. There's very few people that hear Andromedans and Lemurians and go, oh my God, I'm talking to Andromedans. Let me tell everybody. Most of the time, you're a crazy person. Can you imagine the story of Abraham, right? I've got to kill my son. Everyone goes, oh, come on. Or Noah, get on the ark. It's going to flood. Crazy people, right? So we're also in that space. So that's why I say it's so important for us to listen to ourselves, because of the fact that during this time, the veils that are thinning and the Thoths and all of the ices, all of this energy is beginning to return. So the best thing I believe, right now, it's not a belief. We're going through this practice of breathing, getting in your body, being present, standing in nature, going to places where you can have moments of stillness and silence, and allow for yourself to expand. It looks different now. I don't think it's going to be looking the same as it did in the past. It is something that you kind of have to, I don't know, you have to go within, of course, and then find the things magnetized to you like it's not a force. Think about it like this. If you are in scarcity, John and I, we were
Yeah.
talking about this. It's like, I need money, I need money, I need money. Guess what? You're going to keep needing money. But if you can get into the energy of all of my needs are met, I am safe and divinely protected. I had a moment, but guess what? I'm going to go ahead and either cry or run or do something in the moment to clear that out. That is so important. Like, the simpler we get, the easier it is to up level. The easier it is. Just simple. We need to stop overthinking, take a moment, go and get yourself together so that the spirit can move through you. And try and remember, although there's many of us light workers and healers out here, it is about the energy coming through the vessel. It is not about the vessel. It is not about this right here, the conduit, the middleman. It's about the message. So really try and glom onto that and hold on to that and integrate that into whatever works for you. But believe in you, like here, this is the divining rod to get you to where you want to go on this journey. It is you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Whether it takes crying or running, or I like to cry as I
Cry
run.
while running,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Multitasking.
2 for 1.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't crash into anything because you can't see through the tears.
But tears, let you know, are extremely cathartic. And also, too, they unlock things. Like, I remember one time going through a meditation and crying and then being able to remote view. But before that, I was not able to do that. So that releasing of that energy created a lightness that allowed me to do that. So I'm still trying to practice that, John. I'm not very good. I want to do it. I'm still at the mercy of something in my subconscious that wakes up and then goes back to sleep and then can't. It's like intermittent. So trying to get that remote viewing thing happening.
Yeah. 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 But why not? Maybe I can try that as well. I can go
Yeah.
praying, running, and remote viewing all at the same time.
Yes. Come on now. We're infinite beings. Let's do it all.
I'll probably end up running into traffic. I'm sorry, I was remote viewing.
And then you know what? Hopefully all the traffic will stop and you'll be like Neo.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to get to, right?
We've finally gone beyond the matrix, haven't we? That's
Yes.
it. Yes. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. But yeah, absolutely. That scarcity programming, as you say, it's kind of, we'll kind of get so locked into it because it's the whole program for Earth is designed around scarcity. We need to hoard, we need to protect. And if we know that the way out of it into our divine creator mode is to live as if a wish fulfilled, which means that we have to live a life of abundance, even in whilst we have real scarcity. That's a tough one because, again, it keeps us in lack. While ever we're stuck in scarcity, it keeps us in lack, and that's why we're being programmed that way, because that way we're more controllable.
Yeah.
Step into our creator mode, and there's no stopping us.
And it's interesting because in this the video they spoke about the 13 bloodlines,
13,
right?
13 tribes.
And we know and how it was back then. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, I wasn't there, but maybe there was more of a higher vibration, right? Maybe there was more truth and light coming through. And now we have the 13 Illuminati bloodlines. So now we have the dark, right? And so
it's
there's
the negative
this
counterbalance.
yes to that. So it's there. So I was just thinking about that in terms of how we can see through time, things have been perverted, put upside down for our control of us, our loosh, our energy, and how powerful we are. So it's just to remind us that you are under attack. So protect yourself and know that what you have is valuable so that you practice these tools, because at a certain level, they're not going to be able to touch you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for anybody who's familiar with the series Stranger Things, for instance, right? The upside down, where everything is reflected and it's darker. And, that's a really interesting show, that, because the premise on which it was founded is based on like MK Ultra and
CERN, right?
And CERN, and using children and things like that to tap into these things. So, but I find it interesting that 13 tribes of Israel quote, because I wrote it down because I'm not that familiar with what that was about. So they are descendants of the original priests and priestesses of Atlantis. Each tribe carries a piece of the wisdom necessary for ascension. Once all the pieces are remembered, collective ascension will be triggered. That's interesting.
Right.
So a jigsaw puzzle being a 13 point, it's only a 13-part jigsaw puzzle. That shouldn't take us very long. So, let's hope that all comes together sometime very soon. But yeah, I think it's amazing. And again, the archangels are here incarnated as many, right? All many aspects, because we know that for some archangels, we discovered through our work over the last couple of years are actually multiple consciousnesses all added together. It's not a single consciousness. That a single angel would be could be a single consciousness, but an archangel is a conglomeration of many different consciousnesses adds together at a very high frequency. So you can imagine that there's been a lot of input onto the planet that is here to raise that frequency. But as there has to be a natural counterbalance, it does mean the dark has to get darker as the light gets lighter.
Yes. But in that counterbalance, neutrality is so important, because we can fall into like what's going on right now. They want us to be like, going crazy, right? And why? Because it's energy harvesting. You get out of control. You're not yourself. And this is why neutrality, unconditional love, not playing the game. People are being passive aggressive, being weird, whatever. Love. Open your heart and send them love. That's the way to do it. Now, no one ever said you got to sit up there and breathe the same air as them. But, sending love to these energies, to the counterbalance, getting neutral, what does it do? It neutralizes the dark. So try not to feed it. It's very difficult right now. They're making it very hard, especially with people who are hurting nature's people, Earth's people. That can really upset a lot. Children, they're pushing that button, and they're doing it consciously so that we react. So let's try to react with love. More hugs, more joy, more comedy, more. And people are like, I hear the voice. Well, how can you say that when there are people dying? As we focus on people dying, more people die.
Yeah.
Why? Let's try to focus on the living aspects in the places that are suffering. Let's send, like Pam Gregory, let's send that energy, that heart math to that, so that it can resolve itself. Yes, it takes action. And maybe those that are put here to take that action will mobilize. But for those of you that aren't, your action is love, period.
Love is the answer to everything. And it seems strange because it feels like it's inaction, but it's not, because that absolutely 100%, Joelle, is, that point that Pam Gregory made absolutely at the outset of when she created the meditation in the first place. Don't focus on the disharmony. Focus on what you want these people to experience. You want them to be at peace. You want them to be in joy. You want them to be happy. That is the vibe that you send through the quantum waves, the quantum wave structure. That's the energy we add. Because if we focus on the darkness, then we are feeding the darkness, as Alan Watts has told us as well. So brilliant.
And, we're not perfect. So yes, the dark is going to come and tickle us and poke us and do all of that. But we have tools. So don't forget that, and sometimes courageousness is necessary, just to have the courage to just take one more step towards love, or one more step towards forgiveness.
Yeah. And it just reminded me, actually, we did a Twiglet Zone released yesterday. So it's only been out a few hours really now. But within that, we also had a piece that Joelle, you forwarded to me, which was about protecting your energy, right? Powerful. So again, you'll find a link to that down here in terms of the description below is the Twiglet Zone. Which we put the more edgy subjects in there, which it is. It's a remote viewing into Erica Kirk, which had very surprising consequences. And but within that, we talked about protecting your energy, Jolie sent me this particular piece. It's really powerful. That particular section of it is only literally 2 minutes and a little bit more, but it's so good.
Yeah, and it's so simple, and that's the thing. We really get into these emotions because of our conditioning and our programming. And when you find yourself having anxiety, anger, frustration, take a moment and just breathe. And if you can get outdoors, even better, and ground your energy and work on, we know what we need to do. Why don't we do it? Right there is where the rubber meets the road. So let's work on that collectively, because when you get out of that, it helps, like the 100th monkey theory. Like, we really need for us to start doing the things we know that are going to make us better.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And Thoth said, "I am here to help anyone." And he was effectively, he started that conversation back on our piece here, saying that he is here to help anybody who asks. It's a free will planet. So much like we reach out to our higher selves and teams and stuff, we can also reach out to Thoth, who is the architect of ascension after all. So he's in a good position to help us with his elevated consciousness.
Yes, absolutely. It's an energy, and it's really beautiful, and try it. Like, experiment with this stuff and go, hey, I'd like Master Toth or whatever to help me. I'd like Archangel Raphael and that energy to help me. Like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose that might as well take us into the meditation,
Yes.
because the last little section, with only a few seconds of that repeated again, which take us into Jolie's meditation, is where Thoth was asked, "You have a final message." And he gave us this particular final message, which was really deep and profound. So are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. Hang on to your hats, everybody. Here we go.
Trust the wisdom within. Focus on your own ascension. Release the programs of forgetting. It is time to wake up. Let go of fear. Trust the process and remember, you are being upgraded.
Feet flat on the floor. Palms face up on your thighs. For those of you laying down, please keep your feet flat for the beginning part of the meditation. Bring your awareness to your chest and breathe. Breathe in through your nose. Hold it for a moment and then exhale. And as you exhale, relax your body. So you want to breathe in through your nose. Hold it for a moment and exhale as you relax your body. Keep a rhythm, whatever rhythm your body has of breathing, welcome it. And command your heartbeat to sync up with your breath. As you do this, command your body to be in stasis and balance, with everything running optimally. As you bring your awareness to the center of your chest, feel yourself, feel the love and the gratitude and the joy for you, for who you are. As you then, from a heart-centered space, ground your energy by bringing your awareness to the sit bone and visualizing a beautiful earth element grounding you. It could be natural fibers such as a rope, earth energy, a tree trunk. It could be water, a tunnel, or light, or air. Do you want it to be a quartz crystal? a cave, whatever it is that resonates with you. Create this grounding cord as it materializes and moves through Mother Earth and her layers. As you feel the warmth and the love of Mother Earth and feel gratitude for her feeding you, clothing you, sheltering you, as you ground into her core. And ask Mother Earth with so much respect, honor, and gratitude. Help me remember, please. Help me remember who I am and all of the power and the positive energy that is within me. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, imagine the bottoms of your feet opening like the lens of a camera. And you're going to pull in earth energy, 15% of it, of a color that resonates with you. So you're grounded and you're rooted. And those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles have blanketed the inside and the outside of your grounding cord as that earth energy pools into the bottoms of your feet and begins to travel up the side channels of your legs. And as this moves through the lower half of your body, take another deep breath in. Hold it. And as you exhale, imagine your crown opening like the lens of a camera. And the higher self is standing at the power position above your head. Your aura is 1.5 feet around you, and your astral body is snapped in as this 85% gold cosmic life force energy comes cascading down from the heavens, raining down on your higher self, moving down into that crown as we focus some of it into the frontal lobe, removing and resolving any worry, doubt, and fear, helping us with our communication and our insight and intuition as it moves into that pituitary gland, the pineal, decalcifying, regulating, recalibrating those neurotransmitters and synapses, and creating those pathways that allow for more light to pour in, more knowledge, more wisdom, more positive illumination. As that gold light moves down into the neck and into the hands and the arms, moving down the core, meeting that earth energy, and then beginning to fill us up like water fills up a cup. So take a moment and feel this energy move throughout your body. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, open up those hand chakras. And as this earth energy, and 85% cosmic gold, 15% earth, begin to move throughout your body and create momentum and start pumping, 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 sprouting out of your feet, hands, and crown chakras, filling up your aura layers, releasing, dissolving, and resolving anything you're ready to let go of and release, any blocks, moving out any programming and conditioning, moving that down the grounding cord, popping out any pictures, past experiences, taking the lessons, draining these pictures of their charges, of their colors, into beautiful golden roses underneath them. Golden suns above these pictures as we fill these pictures, past experiences, with gold light and store them in our memory banks, taking the lesson and not the charge, becoming more neutral as we send those golden roses into those big roses 5 feet outside our aura layer to the right and to the left. As we give them an energetic push and blow them up, and that energy returns to us clean, clear, and filled with gold light. And the rest turns into positive, creative life force energy for anyone to use as this beautiful earth energy and cosmic gold just fill you up, filling up all of your organs, getting into those intestines, getting in your liver, your kidney, your spleen, your heart, your gallbladder, your throat, your hormones, every part of you, your bones and your joints, just being filled up, replenished with the divine essence that you are. So fill up. Just shower yourself in this gold light and allow for that earth energy to just rise up in you. And as you sit in your heart and you let this energy work, command your higher self. Say, hey, you know what? I need help. Bring in my guides and my masters. Talk to them. Take a moment and ask your masters, your angels and your guides to help you remember, and to help you release what no longer serves, to clear your path on this journey, to help you align with the laws of the universe, to keep you in the bosom of love. Whatever it is you need for your guides and your angels to help you with, take a moment and ask. As you continue to breathe with the rhythm of your body, letting your guides and masters and your body know that you are safe, that it is safe to ask for what you need. You are safe to expand and receive. Ask to remember all of the positives and let go of the negatives. Ask your masters, your guides, and your angels to help you integrate the positive past energy and lessons and resolve and dissolve the struggle of your ancestral line. Breathe with the rhythm of your body. And see that information trickle into each cell of your body as this earth energy and cosmic life force energy electrifies and lights up each one of your cells, bringing you alive. Even more so, lighting up the mitochondria, the cells, bringing so much life force back into you. As you put a golden sun above your head, inside of that beautiful 85% cosmic gold that's cascading down above your higher self. And in this golden sun, I want you to see the Creator place whatever it is that you need, but divinely so. So if it's divine clarity, divine integrity, whatever it is, put the word divine in front of it and allow for that golden sun to be filled up with that energy. And as this earth essence and cosmic divine life force move through your body, sprout out into your aura layer, feel this energy as your higher self then pulls that golden sun down. moves it through itself as it moves down through your crown. And as it moves through your crown, it just breaks up into 50 trillion little balls. And it integrates with every cell and atom in your body. See this. It's like carbonation. It just sizzles and fizzes as it just fills you up. And as it sprouts out of your feet, hands, and crown chakra, magnetizing joy to you and letting you know, yes, I'm giving this to you. You can have it. Why? Because I love you. It is safe for you to have this. It is safe for you to be this on your journey. And make sure you share your joy, your laughter, share your success and your excellence, share your prosperity, your integrity, your divine wisdom. Feel your power. Feel that power coursing through you. That divine power. Know that all of your cells are remembering. They have remembered. The knowledge is right within you. The purity of that knowledge is now you. So sit and bask in this energy and allow it to just engulf you. And then once it has engulfed you, and this earth energy and this cosmic divine is sprouting out, I want you to see that energy just propagate outside your aura in waves into your environment, just up-leveling, upgrading the frequency and the vibration of your surroundings. As you just breathe from a place of joy and knowingness, you are the answer. So as you sit in the solution of this unconditional loving energy that is you, it's time. I want you to say to yourself, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And see yourself in front of you and give yourself the biggest hug. This part of you, whatever part that is wounded, is healed. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And as you hug yourself tight, integrate that new you into your heart. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And as the past resolves and dissolves itself, you have all the lessons, what was really happening, and the clarity of where to go from here. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a moment. And on the exhale, visualize your feet closing like the lens of a camera, and that earth energy receding back down into Mother Earth. And know that you are rooted and grounded with the grounding cord that is clean, clear, and filled with gold light. Because as you brought that golden sun down, that essence went down your grounding cord, cleaning it off. So see what it feels like to just be rooted and grounded into the knowledge and the wisdom of Mother Earth. You create your own reality. So take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, go ahead and visualize your hands closing like the lens of a camera. And now you're going to take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, visualize your crown closing like the lens of a camera, and that cosmic energy ascending back into the heavens. As you remain rooted and grounded into Mother Earth with a grounding cord that is 6 inches in diameter, connected to your first chakra, clean, clear, and filled with gold light. Your higher self stands at the power position above your crown, guiding you on this journey. Listen. Your astral body is snapped in, sharing with you all of the wisdom and the knowledge that it received while you were sleeping. And your aura layer remains 1.5 feet around you, pulsating with unconditional love, joy, and integrity as you move throughout this day, sharing your power, your love, and your joy with those around you. So take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, you can open your eyes.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I love the ho'oponopono with the self-hug. That felt really powerful.
Wow.
And the
Yeah,
sorry, carry on.
No. I was saying like I wanted to say the future self, you know what I mean? And you just want to, whatever that is, integrate it into the heart, or even the wounded part of you, the inner child, just bring it on in. I love you. Because it has that stuff that you need. Like wherever you're struggling, underneath that is the gold. And that's the fear we are working on to remove so we can go ahead and deal with that struggle and thrive.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we don't want to deal with that. I know I don't. I don't want to deal with any struggle. But guess what, Jolie? That's where your gold is.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. But no, absolutely. Yeah. The future self.
Yeah.
There's integrated higher aspects and stuff like that. And, I think it's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, okay. So we go into wrap up mode now. And that's to say, tomorrow we will be sending out the newsletter with the lightly edited version of this show. And we will be also including within that, actually, there's the song that was forwarded this week through the WhatsApp group, right?
Yeah, that's going in there. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful.
Yeah. Ho'oponopono again and the likes. And in fact, I saw that, and on your behalf, I actually popped it onto the newsletter in advance.
Already? Oh, thank you so much.
You can just fill out the wording that you want to accompany it, and that's it.
It's really a good one. Like I've been listening to it. It just is such a high vibration and it's beautiful. So hopefully we'll keep this one on repeat. Our community, listen to it. This is one of the tools. Whenever someone's poking at you, headphones, ho'oponopono music.
Yeah. The instant cure. Yeah. So yeah, and anybody who wants to join our distribution list for the newsletter, please just drop me an email at jr.drew. John Drew. That's me. John Drew at elevatedplanet.life. Had a bit of an identity crisis there for a moment. Or you can go through our website, which is elevatedplanet.life, and then we have a contact page there with a free format contact box, and so you can send us any message that you would like to. And we always love to hear from you, and we always will respond. So that, and what else, Jolie?
Please like, share, and subscribe. We could use the help as well as, collective conscious. We want to infuse some of this energy in there so we can just up level collectively. Individually, it's great, but can you imagine if we up leveled as a collective?
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, so Thursday, it appears, and I'll send out a an invitation in advance to say Thursday we will do the Pam Gregory version of the guided meditation, and we can just coordinate with whoever wants to join us for that. Please do so. And again, part of that collective consciousness stuff, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, and I think that's it then. Other than that, I think that's it for now. Next week we have more of it's the same. Actually, it's like there's more messages around this ascension journey, and I think it's so valuable to integrate it and have the opportunity to have dialogue around it, because it really allows us to embody it, and to have the meditation to back up that embodying process as well is really powerful.
Yes.
Yeah. And Kit, thank you for your comment. And yeah, she says, thank you, dear Jolie, as ever. So
it's an honor. Really, it is.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you for watching this recording, and we love you to bits, and we will see you on Thursday night if you can make it. If not, we'll see you next.
Thank you, Kit. Bye-bye.
Take care.